My name, yes.
Aloha.
Good morning.
Yes.
I'm Stardust,
And I'm MadCatMelody.
and you are tuned into Pragma Pod, the all things anime podcast, presented by Pragmatic Aleatory.
Yes.
All right, so we are going to discuss Steins Gate. Just off the top, how did you guys feel about the story, or at least what's been presented so far?
Hi, Kat, you go first.
All right. Well, I feel like it's trying to do a lot of things, and I always love when things try to do a lot of things. Stories, I guess. Stories try to do a lot of things. I haven't quite gravitated towards the characters yet. I'm not in love with them, but I
I agree.
I love time travel though, so I'm hopeful.
Okay.
Totally understand where you're coming from. Like, I was initially sucked in, like, oh, okay, this is like a cute little like slice of life, but there's also kind of like a mystery plot going on. And there's like little smatterings of like quick humor here and there. Like, it's a little bit deadpan, and some people might not notice that or like it, but I've always liked that kind of like deadpan, like I almost didn't catch it humor. I think a lot of Japanese animes do really well or do very badly, but I think this one gets it right at least 60% of the time.
Yeah, I too was interested in the mystery of it. I was like, oh, this is going to be a nice mystery.
Mhm.
But then it seemed like for episodes, it was just like, oh, but we're not going to reveal a lot of stuff. We're just going to go into people going about
Yeah,
their
like
day.
we're not going to talk about that. Exactly. Like, it's building to something, and you can definitely feel that excitement. But it's, and I'd heard a little bit about like that it was slow to start out, and like you just have to hang in there. So I'm like, all right, I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in. And I loved the beginning episode, and I thought they laid the groundwork for so much, like, just interesting little tidbits here and there, like these breadcrumbs that we're following. But then I felt like it didn't go as far as I wanted it to go in depth and detail too quick. But that's just like, I'm just talking about episode 1 right now. So yeah, what did you think, Kip?
I'll be straightforward. I hate it.
Really, you hate it?
I
That's
thought
a
you
very
might
strong
not like
word.
it because of the characters, right? Is that why mostly?
Dude, it's everything. On episode 1, I was like, okay, this was weak. Episode 2, I was like, okay, this is weak. Episode 3, I was like, okay, this was better, but it's still weak. And then by
Really?
episode 4, I was like, I don't think this is gonna be good. And even if it is good, even if it does turn around, it's still gonna put a damper on whatever comes out. I don't like any character. And when you are not invested in any of the characters presented, especially when they're main characters, it's going to be hard for you to fully be favorable of the entire series. And I realized that Steins Gate was originally a visual novel, and it's a part of the science visual novels from a Japanese developer called Nitro Plus. And as soon as I looked at Steins Gate, I was like, this looks like Chaos Head. And it's a part of that series with Chaos Head and Robotics Notes. And I could tell because I hate the artwork. And
bold statements.
Yeah,
That's
hey,
extreme.
And
hate the artwork,
yeah, I've never heard
like worse than like
before on this
Renan.
show.
Like, I mean, there's like beautiful artwork, right? Like Card Captor Sakura, and like there's like really bad artwork, like Ren and Stimpy, right? I mean, like, where does this fall in that category?
Listen, like, aesthetics and graphics are two very different things, and you're watching anime, unless it's CG, you're typically talking about aesthetics. I mean, you can get into the nitty gritty and talk about like the specifics of animation, how characters moves, and yada yada. But just talking about appearances in terms of aesthetics, I don't like it. Like, the main character is Rintaro Wakabe. He's 18. He looks like he's 28. He's 18 years old.
Definitely thought he was like either a scientist or a grad student, and I'm honestly still not sure which one he is.
They're college students, right? I mean, that's what I got from it. That's why they're him and...
That's what I feel, yes.
They're going to, classrooms and...
The thing that irks me is he's 18, and then you have Akise, who's the quirky girl. She's also 18. Then you have the hacker, who's Hashira, who's also he's 19, excuse me. You have these characters that are primarily 18, 19, 16. And they would say like, "Oh, we've been friends since this year of school. We've been friends since childhood." This dude looks like he's like pushing 10 years older than everybody.
Scientist?
Yeah. The wannabe
Main
scientist.
character, right?
The main character, yes. Rintaro Wakabe.
What's that character from the Big Bang Theory that got like a spin-off and he's a kid?
Oh, Sheldon.
Yeah, I imagine because Sheldon in the covers and everything, he wears like bow ties and button-down shirts, right? He wants to look more adult because inside he feels more adult than all these other idiot kids, right? I imagine.
Right, but is he?
I mean, I don't watch that show, but Rintaro, I think that's what he's
Yes,
doing.
you do.
He's trying to present himself as being smarter and better than everybody else, but also he's kind of a lazy slob, so he looks over the hill.
You guys think he's actually crazy? Like he's always talking into his cell phone, like he's like part of an organization, or he's like fighting against an organization, like there's another spy, like he's talking into his cell phone, but you kind of get the feeling like there's nobody actually on the other line, and other people think so too. But is he actually crazy, or is there something that we don't know?
I think both.
Yeah.
I think the events of the show are going to conspire such that he happens to be right, but that's like a broken clock, right? He's crazy.
I think I agree with Kat. I'm just not interested in what comes.
I'm so glad, Kip. I'm so glad that you finally broke the hate barrier, because now I feel like it's going to be easier for me going forward. I'm getting meta here. Other anime, it'll be easier for me to just attack it.
Listen, I've always told you, if you hate something, you can say it.
I know, but you're polite, so sometimes you say things, and I still want to be careful.
Hey, well, let's try to give some constructive criticism. Here's why I hate it. I already talked about the character design and how this dude's supposedly 18, but he looks 10 years older than everybody. His personality
thing is a big thing for you.
I mean, it's weird that he's the same age as them and he doesn't look anywhere remotely near them. If it was some type of reverse Benjamin Button thing, then that would make sense. But
well, people are different. Like I remember, I look young to a lot of people. They're like, "What? You're how old?" And I have gray hair. And I told one guy, he was like, "No, I noticed the gray hair. He told me the first time he saw me, he felt bad for me because he thought, oh, that's just one of those kids that has gray hair really early."
That's amazing.
Yeah,
but I think you could surmise that we're all around the same age or near. And for me, I don't gather that. What's the guy that runs the CRT shop, the repair shop?
Mr. Brown or Braun? I can't really decide which, but it sounds like Brown.
Yeah, they say it Brown, but I mean that's Brown. It's Brown. That's how you say it.
He calls him that. The guy's name is Tenoji Yugo. And
oh yeah, that's not even his name.
No, it's not. Like everybody.
But he
like,
calls him Mr. Brown.
Yeah,
so, like that's
for no given reason. That's why I'm saying like he's crazy.
Yes, and he calls the other girl Christina, even though that's not actually her name. So it's one of those cases where he just calls people whatever he wants them to be, like whatever character he wants them to be in his mind. That's what he's going to call them.
He looks like he went to school with Mr. Brown. That's what he looks like. Like, and then he just looks like this older guy that's hanging around these high school kids, just like, hey, hello, kids. Just does it.
Yeah, like his childhood friends. What is her name?
The kooky one. Akise,
Mayumi.
Mayuri.
Akise.
Mayuri.
I just said it like 15 times.
Well, Makise is the girl that he's like butting heads with.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
you were thinking.
right.
Okay, he was right.
Oh no,
like,
I mean,
like the
but
childhood
you're
friend,
talking...
like the one that works at a maid cafe. His
yeah,
friend.
you're right. It's Mayuri.
Hey, I was
Mayuri,
right.
Yeah, she looks like she's literally like maybe she's like, yeah, like maybe she's in high school, like 16 years old, and I was like, just like the way that she acts, like it's very cutesy, and like I get that there's that. That part of Japanese culture where that's like that, and like she works at a maid cafe, so it kind of makes sense at this point. However, she definitely looks like she's at least 10 years younger than him, And
Yeah.
so when I think that they're childhood friends, I was like, was she 2 years old when they met? Like, I don't understand.
It throws you off. It throws you off. And she is 16, you're right. Supposedly he's 18, even though he looks like he's nowhere near that. But I'm not, I
Says
mean,
he's
I've
yeah,
18.
yeah.
harped on that enough.
That would be awesome if we got to the end of the series and
Yeah.
through some time travel, hijinks, he aged faster than everybody else. So it was all explained.
Maybe.
It would be cool. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. You can't rewrite
You
the
guys
story
like the
that's
theme
already
song?
been written. No.
No, well,
You
it was.
did not like the theme song.
No.
Seemed
Being honest with you, I'm gonna be Squidward for this entire episode.
I'm gonna be Squidward.
Like I am. Like I found one thing that I liked. It was a audio track, an insert audio track when he was like researching on the computer. That was it. And then the other insert audio tracks, like when what's her face? Akise got stabbed in the first episode. It was corny. Like I hate we get that track is supposed to set a tone. When you overdo the audio, like when you have all these extravagant instruments, it's like, okay, like you kind of making it too melodramatic. The song that was playing in the background, it's like the whole time the song was saying like, yes, mystery, murder. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that. It's just,
So like that's what really set it up, I think, for like such a great show though. Is like, okay, then the first episode, this girl gets murdered. I was like, this is gonna be fantastic. This is
Yeah.
so exciting. And then like I guess we can just, move on to the second episode if you guys want to. But like after that, I was like, wait, is that it? What else? Where's this going?
I'm scared, man.
I'm scared.
I'm scared because literally none of these characters all are like really bad characters. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Chaos Head, but Chaos Head is literally one of the worst anime I've ever seen. I stand by.
I did not, and now I will not.
The main
Thanks for
character, I
Someone's gonna watch that.
main character looks, he could be like cousin of the main character of Chaos Head. So that hate was already there because they went with the art style. They went with their art style they usually go with. Like, well, here we go. We're stuck with this. Even the girl that's supposed to be like his foil, if you will, / partner, the science girl, her design is very boring. Like all of these designs, nothing that stands out in the character design to me. It's extremely generic. At least one person should have a design that's like, oh wow, that person looks unique or that person looks cool. I get
I'm gonna
that
push back on you here because
I get that they're nerds and stuff, but like the one that's supposed to be cool, which is clearly Makise, she's written as the one that's supposed to be like the confident, cool girl.
yeah,
I liked her immediately.
I think her clothing also reflects what she's getting at. In fact, I didn't like her clothing, but I didn't like it because I felt like it was so obviously, just in your face. Oh, she's cooler than everybody else. And if I look at it, when I look at it, this is me. It looks like a male teenager version, I guess, of Constantine. Because in the comics, he's got this long, flowing, brown trench coat and red tie. So the color scheme I was familiar with, and that's fine for me. But this thing about her always like it's always off her shoulders bothered me. But it was definitely noticeable for me, memorable.
It's very memorable, extremely memorable. And I'm like, is this like a coat over her?
Yeah,
white
I was
shirt?
constantly
like, what is
it was
this?
the most
Is this, like,
important
on
character
purpose?
whenever it was on screen, that coat.
Yes, and I really like her actually. Like when I first saw her, I was like, this girl is cool. I can tell that she's going to have a really good role, and I'm all for it. And I'm like, maybe she's the main character because I kind of want her to be the main character at this point.
I would be interested in that, but I don't think that.
Yeah, I think you guys want to watch a series that you're not gonna get.
You know what I did like? Are we gonna move to stuff we liked?
We this is all over the place, so this is how it's gonna be. So if you want to say it, say it.
All right. Number one thing I liked was that moment when they look back and there's that Joe banana.
Ah, yes.
That moment, I was like, this could be something I could love. There's not enough of those moments.
Specifically, what type of feelings did it give you? Where you're like, all right, this is.
Well, it was like a mind-bending thing. It's like, oh, reality as I figured it could exist. Now it opens up all these possibilities. Like, what could this possibly mean? And I was thinking about time travel too. Like, oh, if you send it back is it going to go, can you send something back and connect it to where it is? Is it growing out of the stock again? Like it made me wonder how everything works. And also I like when technology goes wrong, but in such a like fantastic way,
Yes, exactly. And I love that it's gooey, and I love that Makise, our redheaded, badly dressed heroine, she actually sampled these
Yeah, I
gel
was like, what?
bananas.
All these people are
No
mad.
fear. No fear. Like, it could be radioactive. She does not care. No
Yeah.
fear. She just goes
We
ahead
need
and
some
like,
people like that.
that's disgusting. Yeah, I mean, like, props to you. Gosh, I would never do that.
And I liked that it seemed like mostly an accident. Like this microwave just seemingly randomly, and because of the phone. And I liked how the phone sent a message back like a week ago.
Yeah, because it really makes you wonder, like, wait, could this be possible? Like,
Yeah, could people just stumble upon time travel?
Yeah.
I was excited with that whole
It
thing.
It wouldn't originally have you thinking like, oh, it's time travel. It'd be like, oh, my phone's kind of messed up, But like, it happens so
or
often.
These bananas are radioactive.
Yeah, exactly. So like now you're having memories along with like weird gel bananas. So like now what's happening?
Yeah, I think that's what's interesting for me. I was pulling my eyelashes out while watching this, and I was thinking to myself, because I know this is extremely popular anime, and I also understand just because something is popular doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to be popular with you in a good way. And I was thinking, I was like, this is going to be interesting because obviously I'm going to finish it. Will I be able to like the series if I don't like the characters? I like the premise that's provided, even though it's not handled in a way that's good.
Yes.
And
that's the number one dramatic question I'm going to be dealing with this whole season.
My knee-jerk answer is no, dummy, no. No, you're not going to like it because it was handled horribly. That's why people say, well, it was good on paper, but what it ended up was just not, I keep in mind that constantly tell myself I've only watched 4 episodes. We've only watched 4 episodes, so it could get better. But I have nothing positive to say. So you guys are gonna hold down the fort.
If you don't have anything nice to say, I mean,
this is really bad, dude.
Stuff.
It was just. I mean, I think it's great when we all agree. I think it's great when we have differentiating opinions, but it's just really bad. I don't want to always have to really dig down deep and try to find something that was great about it. If it sucks to you, it sucks to you. I think there are times where you can find something. Like I found that song, I was like, oh, that's a good song. And then it had a whole bunch of other bad insert songs. And it's just like I struggled. I looked at the clock like 15 times, like, is this episode almost done? Like for every even in the intro, like it had this powerful intro. Because I hated the characters that were presented to me, the main character annoying, obnoxious, and I get that's how he's supposed to be. And that's fine if you have another protagonist or somebody to click with. I don't. Like his quirky friend, Mayuri, I've seen like 50,000 characters like her. Maybe
she's not unique in any way. I actually kind of like, so far I think I like the hacker is pretty funny, and also I think Makise and his chemistry has promise. Like I'm curious to see what more scenes between them will look like.
I want to talk about him. He has a line.
Okay.
And it's like he's like, oh, she may be 3D, but she has a 2D soul.
Yes. I remember this quote specifically, and I definitely wanted to talk about it as well.
Yeah.
Like that.
What does that mean to you?
Funny. It's so
about
funny.
His waifus?
Yes, his waifus, right? Like,
I hate that word.
I know, it's great, like this weird, like Japanese katakanaized terminology. And it's hilarious, but like it's really true, like, right? So like 3D girl with a 2D soul, like how is that even better? Like how is that supposed to be better?
Well,
so, like,
okay, thank you, because I was thinking in my mind, and I was like, maybe I'm wrong, but I was thinking what he's saying is like women are too complex, and I want them to be simple.
Okay.
Is that Is that
Pure? Like you mean like
what he
simple as in a
means?
pure sort of way?
Well, you know how people say, "Oh, that's a one-dimensional character or two-dimensional character." I don't think
Mhm.
it's too off. When I got it, that's what I was thinking when he said that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that point for sure. Like maybe real women are too complex. Sorry. No. I think that like, like he's like a traditional hacker, maybe hikikomori, like he's a shut-in kind of guy, and this kind of guy is like he has all these online personalities that he's in love with, and maybe he's married. I don't know. We never got that far, but he's really into them. And, maybe the 2D girl really is his dream kind of girl. And he's right. He's never going to meet that girl in real life, right? Because
Well, they were talking about a real girl in that scene where he's like, "Oh, she's a 3D girl, but she has a 2D soul," right? And so
wasn't that a maid cafe girl?
yeah, they were talking about one of the which is obviously a performance, right? That's a problem. But
Right. Yeah.
I was thinking him saying that seems to be hinting that he does want like a real girl, you know?
Mm.
He's not satisfied with the just the 2D girls, but he can't admit that because he doesn't have hope for getting with a 3D girl because he doesn't get them. Is what I was getting from that.
This just got way deeper than we imagined it would be, you
Well, no,
guys.
is that I mean, what do you
Hey,
think he meant? Kip?
I think you guys are writing a lot of material.
They wrote that line. What am I supposed to look into?
Yeah, dude. I think the characters, it takes place in Akihabara primarily, and I think those characters just like, here, let's take these people, let's find people that are hella stereotypical that live in Akiba, and let's put them in this anime. So, like, I don't like when I look at him, he's like your typical. I don't know. Hackers in anime are gonna be these cutesy girls, or they're gonna be some overweight guy. That's usually how anime sees hackers for some reason. And I think he falls into the latter category. And living in Akiba and liking saying waifu and liking 2D, characters
It's an
characters
easy
or
character
whatever.
trait to go to.
Yeah, I think that's just think it was.
But there are people like that. And so I
Of
was
course,
looking at this
there
as an
are.
opportunity
Yes.
to like look deeper into that psyche.
Yeah. Do you think? Here's my question. I'm gonna present to you very poorly because I'm thinking about it as I'm talking right now. Do you think
Exciting.
that you digging deeper into what was said, it was the intention, the creator, or do you think that's just you?
Oh no, not at all. Because I think most of his lines, most of the hacker's lines, are just there to sound like he's an intelligent, clever, like quippy guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of them don't land for me. But that one landed because I thought maybe that's accidentally showing something, accidentally hitting on something clever.
Okay.
Yeah, some of those things were actually quite clever. Like he also said that if we were in someone's screen, would we ever be able to know? And I'm like, that's pretty profound because I don't think we would.
Well,
We wouldn't know.
Here's how I read it because immediately after the main character, he's like, no. So I read it as he's asking, like, wouldn't there be signs? Wouldn't we be able to tell? And the other guy's like, no.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got from that, So, which is ironically maybe the less deep perspective of like, oh, we would be able to tell if there's some creatures, outside of us, bigger than us, more intelligent than us, watching us. We would be able to know, wouldn't we? Like that's the knee jerk, but also less intelligent perspective. Whereas the no, we wouldn't because they would be so far above us. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
You guys are talking about alpaca man.
Yes. He talks to an alpaca.
So there's this game. I don't know if you guys ever played it. It's this game called Seaman.
Seaman. I knew you were gonna say Seaman.
I said Seaman.
Sorry, what did you just say? There's a game called Seaman and about alpacas. I'm definitely lost.
I said Seaman. Okay. Right. And
he's being all careful, like they didn't name this game specifically because they knew people would say semen. It's not a,
I don't know.
We're not in an art gallery.
spelled Seaman.
Yes, semen. I mean, semen.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're on a boat, right?
Mhm.
You're on a boat in the sea, and you're a man, right? Even if you're not a man, you could be a seaman, right?
Yes.
How is that spelled? It's spelled the same.
Seaman.
Yeah, you're right.
Seaman.
It is.
I
It's
know how
spelled the
semen
same.
is spelled.
Oh, I'm gonna say Seaman, okay? Because I don't want anybody to be like, "Whoa, what is this?"
Okay.
So,
Okay, I'm just saying semen is a perfectly reasonable word and
I
also
feel like
spelled
I
correct.
feel like
I'm gonna make this
listen.
chat like way more than PG-13.
I'm done. Yeah, I
Yeah,
said my piece. Anyway, I know exactly what you're talking about, and
You
I
said
was
your,
thinking
you
the
said your
exact same
piece a
thing.
lot. Yeah, I feel like you enjoyed saying your piece. Yeah, and so when I saw that Alpaca Man, it reminded me of that Sega game. And I felt like that was just a callback to that, and that was it. So
Yeah,
that line that was like supposedly deep, I didn't. I don't know.
you assumed it wasn't because that game
It's not even
was.
that I don't know. When I hear dialogue or when I see a character that's been said or done a bajillion times, I don't take a lot from it.
You're
You
assuming
know,
you don't have anything to learn from characters you're familiar with.
not from that one-off line. I didn't have anything to learn. Do I have something to learn from the characters that are presented to us? Yeah, because I'm only on episode 4. So yeah, of course I do. Yeah, they could turn, they can twist. It comes from a visual novel. Visual novels, depending on the genre, usually have like these crazy plot twists where somebody's like, "Joke's on you! I've been dead this whole time. I'm a serial killer." Like so there are so many ways that this show could go. God, just don't be like Chaos Head.
I don't know what that means. So
Oh my gosh! Speaking of chaos, can you guys tell me what you thought about the temple priestess, who is like the perfect woman, except for the fact that she's not a woman?
Yes, he was born a boy. Um, I don't know. I just was like, all right. There's this weird thing about that where, yeah, I'll let you guys go.
I liked it. I liked it because for a couple of reasons. One, I would say it's a better, and that's not a high bar, but better representation of like a trans person than Shangri-La, right? But also, he's the main character, right? And he's attracted to this, this feminine guy, and it's a source of comedy. And I don't see that. I feel like I don't see that a lot because either you're gonna have a main character, somebody who's gay, or a guy who's like a masculine guy. If you're gonna have a hero, something to this is how to be a man or whatever. And I don't think there's enough of people that are honest about because I've been to a lot of places where there's a lot of guys that look like that are girls. No, that look like girls, but they're like better at looking like girls than they are guys.
Are they semen?
Wait. You made me feel like I was all immature for saying the proper word, and now you're giggling in the corner.
It was a visual novel twist I just did. All right, go ahead.
It's the kind of thing where if you go out to a bar and you meet like somebody, and then oh man, it's a boy. A lot of guys could get made fun of for that, right?
Yeah.
Are you still gonna like hook up with them? Like this could be the case in Thailand, and I've heard it happens all the time. But that man was beautiful. Like that man, woman, whatever. I'm not gonna lie. Like he was beautiful. Like this person was radiant.
Well, they looked like an anime character, which is generally all anime characters tend to lean towards the pretty side. For me, I think.
It was like extra though. I mean, obviously that was the intention, but yeah, everyone thought that this person was beautiful, and they definitely were.
Yeah, and I was trying to imagine because I do see that in Shangri-La, where the characters that are men dressed up as women, you could see them as women, but also if you squint, you can see, oh yeah, that's a guy like chin or way of walking or whatever. And I like when there's that they meld them. But I was looking at this character and I was thinking, I feel like you just drew a girl and you're just saying it's a boy. I don't know.
Did. Oh, like they did.
So it feels like they're trying too hard to make it like they should have a little bit
It feels very half-assed.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I feel like I'm just being picky about my trans character. Because, like I said, it is a lot better than Shangri-La, I think. So
I don't know. It's weird because Ruka was born a boy, and you have Okabe, who's the main character, who's like, she's a boy, but she's a boy, but she's a boy. At any point, did Ruka ever address the issue? I don't think Ruka did. So I don't know.
No.
So I don't know what Ruka. I don't know if Ruka is just an effeminate boy. She identifies as a girl. Like, I don't know, because it never came from her mouth or his mouth. It
yeah,
only
you
came
don't
from the
get to
main
see
character's mouth.
her perspective on the matter. It's just like a joke from his internal monologue.
Right. So seeing that joke and seeing that clearly she's drawn as a girl, like if you remove her hair and you remove Mayuri's hair, they're gonna have the exact same face.
Right, and that's what I meant about anime characters.
So to me, as of right now, it just feels half-assed. But I understand that Ruka is not like this integral part of what's going on, at least not right now.
I didn't understand because I was like, "Why is this? Why are we here now? And is this going to be important?"
Out of it, yeah, like very out of context. What is
Seriously,
happening right now?
The series, maybe it could be where it's like the series is like scrambled eggs, and then all of a sudden it comes together to form this omelet. You're like, whoa, omelet! But right now, it just feels like this series has no direction. It feels.
I think
like,
mathematically, if you're going to do something like that, that last episode has to be so enjoyable as to be as enjoyable as the episodes that led up to it that were not as enjoyable because you weren't getting it.
I don't even think it could be last episode. It has to pull a Devilman Crybaby, and the last chunk, the last half, has to be extremely good for you to look back and be like, wow, whoever did this was really smart.
Curious to know what you guys thought about our additional character that just came in kind of out of nowhere, and I thought it had something to do with the fact that he's having all these memories, our main character's having all these memories that he can't account for, and it seemed to be from a different timeline, but it's never actually explained. And
Are you talking about Tighter?
No. We'll get there.
Are you talking about the editor? Excuse me. Are you talking about the girl who like just showed up on the street like, hey man?
She's just like she's taking his
forgot about
picture,
her.
right? Exactly. And we think at first like, oh, she's definitely an integral part and she's going to like pull this whole thing together. And I'm like, ooh, this could be interesting. I'm like, she's kind of cute. Like she seems like kind of shy. But then also I'm like, is she a stalker?
Yeah, Moeka feels like Moeka just feels like the person that's. Have you guys ever played a visual novel before?
Not really.
Played? Like,
Yeah.
as in, like, the story as in like an app? Yes.
Come on, bro. Yeah.
Actually, as a matter of fact,
well, that's good, because then possibly you could relate to what I'm about to say. Moeka feels like that character that randomly shows up in a visual novel. Keep in mind that this is a visual novel that was turned into an anime. And then later down the road, she's like, I'm actually evil. Like, like everything about this just feels very generic for me. And I'm going to say it now. Keep in mind that none of us have seen, I almost called it Chaos Head. None of us have seen Steins Gate. I say no. I'm like 85% sure that Moeka girl we're speaking about is going to be like an antagonist or something. It just feels, the characters do that in visual novels. They just show up. They weren't introduced or spoken about before. There's nothing hinted at. They just randomly appear, and then they disappear and fall in the background. And then they randomly pop back up like, you're digging too deep. So that's what I see.
She seems to be so suspicious as the point to being crazy, as if she's holding on to every single memory, thinking that she wouldn't even let him hold her phone because she's trying to
she seems so paranoid.
Memories.
Yeah. That's
I
the
would love
man.
to have a character that reveals themselves as having been false this whole time, because that would be more familiar to me.
I kind of want Mayuri to kill everybody. And then I'll
What
be
about
like,
her?
oh,
What
this,
about her maid cafe friend that's really popular?
yeah, I want them both to be in on it.
I
Then I
don't
would be like, oh,
understand that.
this is
Like,
interesting.
why that's such a big part of the series.
Her friend,
The maid cafe.
I mean, maybe her friend is a bigger force than what we think, but I think that the series has to constantly reinforce the stereotypes of these people living in Akiba. And what a perfect way to do it with the maid cafe girl that says
Oh, it's
nyan
just
nyan.
trying to show life.
And maybe.
Because he
Maybe.
went to like a tournament to
Mhm.
ask her a question about the whole time
Mhm.
travel science fiction thing, and I was like, why are you here talking to her now about this?
Yeah, that was super weird. Like it didn't really seem to connect to anything. And now he's at this maid cafe and like about Ferris Chan, that's her name, with the cat girl. Although I will say, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I definitely love some neon speech in my anime. And any word that you can replace with meow or neon, as it were, I'm all about it. And I think that's great. Obviously, I'm a cat lover. However, this is so much fun for me. So
I
I'm
like
okay
that
with the rest of
shit.
the totally okay if the rest of these episodes are just whatever neon.
Well, I mean, it's cute.
Nope. That you got from both of us, that was a legitimate response. Cat's gonna try to do is he's gonna try to make it seem like, oh yeah, I didn't mind, but really was his first response.
The time is meow. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
I went in this whole when I saw her because I'm
you're
less
fired.
familiar
Stardust,
with
you are fired. You're fired.
So I see her, right? And she's doing the whole paw thing with her hands, right?
Yeah.
And that's like I'm not very familiar with that whole thing. So I was thinking, I was putting that together with the thing the hacker said about two-dimensional girls, right? And how if you have like, people will say, oh, that's my fur baby if they're talking about their pets, right? And some people will say, oh, I don't need a relationship. I have my cat or my dog, right? Because and I think it's the same motivation because it's like, oh, people are complicated. So if you just have a little animal, animals are simple. They love you no matter what.
I don't know.
It's true.
I got lost.
Because she has all the little cat mannerisms. And
Yeah.
maybe that's
Yeah,
the attractiveness
she's
of
extra. Yeah, like she's extra 2D, right? Like she's simple, she's pure, she's just living in the now. I can't stop.
I know you can. What did you guys think about the other girl, the part timer, Mane Suzuha? She worked at the CRTV.
yeah, another one that just seems to it's like they're on a boat, like a cruise murder mystery, and they have to just pad all these characters so that you're not immediately knowing who the killer is.
That's a really good way to think about it.
That is
That's
a
actually
very good
very,
way
very
to think
that's
about
very
it.
smart.
And
Like,
that's
who is this? And why is her hairstyle so dumb? Sorry. It is. It's like a weird mullet pigtail thing.
I didn't mind her hair. I actually liked it.
It says way more about you than it does about her.
I think the neon said enough about you, my friend.
See, I feel like she's like a more genuine seeming badass than Makise.
I feel like
She
she's
does
the
seem
most-
genuine.
I don't know. She's like the one character where I was like, she's okay, I guess. Right? Like it was her,
That's
and
the
then
point.
it was Mr. Brown. It was both of them, and I was like, oh, they're all right. I like them, but everybody else, they suck.
I was going to say oh, if any one of these random girls is gonna pull out and be a surprise spy at the end, that knew the whole plot all along, I'd like it to be her. Except then I got this image of Luca like being a spy and thinking it was the greatest like disguise to become a girl so that nobody recognizes that he's this, like maybe the guy knows him as a guy, and so he's like, oh, we'll notice I'm a guy if I put this wig on. And then at the end, he takes out a gun or whatever and starts shooting everybody. I would.
Oh, what if he's really John Titor, like the mysterious space time traveler that's only in the web forum?
Yes, yeah. I kept reading it tighter. I was like, but then
Yeah, maybe it's tighter.
no, he was pronouncing it different than what I wanted him to pronounce it as.
Titor, tighter? I can't remember.
I think it was Tidor, but I was like, my brain was rejecting that.
Oh my gosh, did you guys watch? Okay, so I watched, as I usually do, the sub, but then for episode 3, I watched the dub because I wanted to see the difference. And normally I hate the dub and I can't handle it because I love the Japanese language. But I will tell you that I would watch the dub. It's actually very clever and very well done, and it actually added quite a lot of humor that wasn't there previously. So I recommend that anybody who wants to see it.
I will say humor-wise, because I did I did the same thing. I was like, I wonder how this translates in English. And there's this joke that they keep doing with the hacker guy, where he keeps calling him like Hawker, and he's like, it's not pronounced that way, and he throws stuff at them. And then in the English version, he's gotten the girl to call him a hack, which is like, oh, I get that joke. Like that's something serious that I can imagine him throwing stuff at you. The other one, I don't. So there was some writing humor that was better in the English, but I did not like the voice. Usually I prefer dubbed, but this one is like the first anime I did not prefer the voice, specifically as the main character.
Yeah, interesting.
I watched the subtitled one. Typically always go subbed unless there's like a specific voice actor in English. Like, I can't remember the guy's name, but he does Cowboy Bebop. He did Cowboy Bebop. He plays Spike in Mugen. The guy has an excellent.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah, everybody loves that guy.
Whenever he's a part of an anime series, the whole English cast tends to be like really good. But if they're not in it, then I'm like, it's gonna be subtitled. Just because a lot of times you take liberties too, and then what's meant to be conveyed is sometimes like something completely different when you're listening to the dubbed version. So,
Right, and sometimes that's okay. It's funny in both ways, but in the Japanese, sometimes I just don't get a joke there, and in the English, like, oh, that's a joke. But really, what I didn't like about the voice actor was not that he was a bad voice actor, just that he sounds like if you go to like France and you watch like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, there's the same actor who does most of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies as well as like the Keanu Reeves movies and the Bruce Willis movies.
Yeah.
That'll be the same voice actor. So it won't sound like a big hulking weightlifter guy, And I feel like this is the opposite problem. It sounded like an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice impersonator, and this guy's got a super skinny neck and everything, and it kind of took me out.
I got you. I thought I liked the terminology and the jokes they were coming up with in the English. I thought that was very clever, and I thought that was well done.
And I get the sense that it was just poorly. I get the sense it was just poorly written, and the English, were like making it better. That was.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that as well. They're trying to like infuse some kind of like extra life and humor, and I think that just Western audiences appreciate that anyway. Like this more like interesting, humorous, fast-moving sort of pace.
Quippy, Joss Whedon type stuff, but
yes, exactly.
The voices though are probably the most important part for me, even higher than like a character's design. Is the voice.
What do you guys? If you guys had to pick a favorite character so far, who would it be?
The bicycle chick.
Okay. What about you, Stardust?
Bicycle chick? Oh, the part-timer. Okay,
yeah, the part-timer.
Okay. It did have a scene with the bicycle in it. I'll give it to you. Okay. Like, what does she actually do in their store that doesn't have any customers? That's really
special. I've never seen her inside the store. Only outside. Right?
Yeah, also, they have no customers. Why do they need a part-timer?
He's lonely. Mr. Brown is lonely.
Yeah, it could be, right? But he's
got
like,
a life, bro.
Receive me that way.
He got stuff to do. He got stuff on the side.
Oh yeah, he's got like a kid, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to see his daughter.
I liked Makise, this redheaded girl, like who was automatically cooler. She's very sciencey. She's very smart.
Yeah.
I have a feeling she knows way more than our mad scientist guy, who always laughs at like the most inappropriate, ridiculous times. I mean, I guess like a mad scientist, really, but like we definitely think that he's crazy, and he probably is. He might be genius too, but I would put more faith in her because I think she would actually know what's going on.
He
What do you
laughs.
think?
He
You
laughs
think
to
about her?
preempt you because he knows everybody wants to laugh at him, so he laughs first.
Yeah, it could be that. Could be
It's a
that.
subconscious tick.
What do you think about her father drama? Do you remember something happened with her father or whatever?
She was.
Oh, right.
Like, I don't want to make the same mistake as my father.
Yeah, she didn't want to be a failure like her father.
Yeah, he was obsessed with time travel, right?
Yeah, he got cast in a really bad show. It just didn't go over, and she was like, "I don't want to end up like him." I was like, "Too late, motherfucker."
When she said that, I was like,
That's it.
when she said that, I was like, is Rintaro her father, and like she's from the future or something? That was.
And that would be so interesting. You just took this to a whole new level that
You
I'm
did.
really excited
You
about.
did.
Oh my god,
You
if
did.
you're wrong, I'm gonna be so upset.
I feel like while you're watching something, your brain is writing fan fiction. Like,
That's what everybody's brain is supposed to do when you're watching a mystery, right? I'm not
Like,
weird.
who did it? Who do you think did it?
did what?
Well,
Did what?
maybe.
Wait, what? Stole the CRT.
It was that girl with the bicycle in the part-time job that didn't need a part-time.
Maybe Ruka is John Titor.
Maybe.
I like Mr. Brown.
Now you say it like Braun, and now I feel like it's a pun. It's like
I feel
Brawny.
like it's probably Braun in English, and because they're Asian, they're like Brown.
Yeah, but Braun
It
is
definitely
actually
sounds like brown.
Brown doesn't work as a pun though.
I wasn't saying brown. I was saying Braun.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it's
They have
brown.
it in the subtitles that way, but like they're definitely pronouncing it like brown.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Mr. Brown. He's the only brown skinned dude. Come here, Mr. Brown. Can make that joke. I'm brown skinned.
He's not brown skin at all.
What do you mean? Yes, he is.
He's
Compared
much
to
more
them?
brown skin than all the
Yeah.
pale
If
characters.
he was
guess.
Japanese, he would be from the countryside or like Okinawa or something.
I mean, he's not really dark, but he's like Vin Diesel dark, right?
I would put him darker than Vin Diesel. You know what I think? I think he's like The Rock.
I'd say maybe between Rock and Diesel.
Rock Diesel. Clearly, I don't have much to add.
Okay, well, I was gonna say because it's not my favorite anime, but if anybody wants to see, because I feel like it's my job to recommend it to somebody out there. Somebody out there is gonna love it. So if anybody ever wanted to see like an adult version of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, this would be their anime.
I've never seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
It's clearly not your
You
anime.
you guys were talking about The Big Bang Theory. I never saw that either, so that's why I was just like, I don't know what to talk about.
I don't watch Big Bang Theory, but I felt like everybody should know who Sheldon is, except for me, obviously.
They made a lot of jokes about The Big Bang Theory
Great character.
at my previous job, and I always laughed, but I never got it. So like, I didn't.
Oh, you were that guy. Okay.
I read an article, and I don't necessarily agree or disagree with this article, but I read an article that theorized that Big Bang Theory got popular because it's explaining it makes you think that you're understanding all these like nerdy concepts, and so it makes older people who feel distanced from their like younger nieces, nephews, and daughters and sons feel closer to them, their little nerdy relatives. And so old people are like, oh, I get nerds now.
Interesting. That's actually a really, really good point. I wonder if that's true. I mean, it might be.
Yeah, I mean, everybody I've watched it with that was like, hey, you want to watch Big Bang Theory? They were all old people, but I don't know.
Really? Do you just hang out with a bunch of really old people like really often?
Well, mostly family. When I say old people, I mean.
Okay, I'm sure they would be delighted to know that.
I tend to try and no, I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah, you're digging a hole.
Abort, you can't go back now.
Abort
Oh, can we just
scene.
talk
That
about
was the
episode
last one.
4 for a second, you guys?
Yes,
Of course.
please move on to that.
Yes, I'm so excited. Let's hear it.
Yeah, because nothing actually happened in episode 4.
Okay, thank you,
What do you
because I have
mean?
so many notes for all these episodes, except my episode 4 notes are blank.
You know why?
Episode
Because
4 was
literally
great.
nothing happened. They went to go get a computer. The redheaded girl, Makise, is freaked out by the banana goo, and they move the computer. That's literally all that happened.
I
Like
think
the episode ends with them. Sorry for the spoiler. They're carrying the computer. That's it. That's how it ends. There's no cliffhanger.
It's like, oh,
Just
this is a
them
two-man carry.
Yeah, it's like exactly.
Yeah, that's not a
That's
challenge
there's
we
no
need to see them
romantic.
overcome.
it was a really boring slice of life.
Yeah,
Episode 4
so
was.
the
It
whole
was like a
time,
poorly
like
written slice of life.
just to wrap up, like I liked a lot of elements of it, and I thought there was some really great humor in there, like on occasion, and it caught me by surprise, as if it shouldn't be there, but it was. Then I thought that like it was like a slice of life, and then I was like, oh, it's a mystery. This is gonna be really cool. But after episode 1, I was like, wait, not much is happening. Okay, there's banana goo. That's pretty cool. And the
Okay, there's one there.
and the
If
text
I
messages
had
are
gone
going
into it, yeah, if I had gone into it thinking it was a slice of life, I would have lowered my expectation of like action and excitement. But going into it as like a murder mystery time travel, I'd be like, and then being given a slice of life. That's what's so disappointing to my heart.
Well, it's not even like it, yeah. So like it's part of that. Like I'm like, okay, well, it's like a slice of life meets mystery and kind of science fiction, and I feel like we're not really getting any of those.
Yeah, like maybe he's just
by episode
crazy.
4.
Maybe he just took paste or Elmer's glue and he painted it green and then quickly put it there where the bananas were, and he's just behind all of this because he's nuts.
Yeah, maybe that might actually be entertaining.
I want to talk about his state of mind, because I always think it's interesting when you have a character that's like, wait, is this really happening to this person? Is this real? You
Like
know,
the
and
Joker.
I was going to bring up Serial Experiments Lane.
Yeah, that's more apt to do that.
And I think that it's very weird how I feel about it, because Lane doesn't do anywhere near as much talking as our main character in Steins Gate. And for whatever reason, her psyche, I think it's writing in its tone. The way it's done for her is so much more engaging and entertaining than how it's done in Steins Gate for me. Because his babbling is just unbearable. It's unbearable. It's unbearable. And you know, I get that this is how he's supposed to be. So I actually think they do a good job conveying how they want their characters to be. I hope somebody that I latch onto has a bigger role, and it's not just a tiny role.
So who's your favorite character?
Mr. Braun.
Oh, you said that. Seriously. Yeah.
It's either him or it's the part-timer.
Yeah.
Because all these other characters are either generic or annoying. You know, the redhead chick again is like hella generic. You can find her in so many animes. You can find her in Darling in the Franxx. There's so many animes, and they all have like this colored hair, and they're like, look at me, I'm smart, confident, and edgy. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a female character being smart, confident, and edgy. Motoko Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell is one of my favorite characters ever. It's weird that you bring up episode 4 saying that nothing happened, because the 3 other episodes, things happened, and my excitement was the exact same as it was in episode 4. the exact same. And that's so bizarre. Like, you literally start off with a bang. You literally start off with going to a lecture and then finding this dead girl. Then stepping outside and time freezes. You're like, what's going on? Where did everybody go? And the only character that's standing there with you is like, what happened? I didn't see anything. Like, me saying that sounds like, oh, that's an awesome concept.
Yeah, yeah. I was so excited.
Then when you watch it, you're like, oh, I don't know. It's like that time I went to Vegas. I paid $100 for this burger, and I had seen this burger on all types of shows. They were like, you have got to have this. I was like, I'm gonna get this damn burger. I even took my father with me, and I was excited for this because I paid for everything. So I was
Wow.
excited, and we got there. First of all, my dad, he just made like he had to build a burger for like $10, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? And I got this $100 burger, and I'm like, yes, I'm about to taste success, energy, like, and I remember the waitress came over and she's like, "So how is it?" And I was like, "It's phenomenal. This is the best thing I've ever had." She walked away and my brother looked at me and I was like, "This shit is nasty."
Did she come back and like offer you her services? Because then I could see it being $100.
Whenever they ask me, "Is it bad?" I've only said yes one time. Like I almost
Really?
never say it. I just don't have the heart to do it, even though I know I should. I just don't.
There's a difference between not having the heart to say it's bad and saying it's phenomenal. There's a big
Yeah,
gap.
listen, it was $100 burger, and she was smiling and she looked excited for me to eat it because she was like, "I've never even had it," so I didn't want to let her down. um, I feel like that's what Steins
What's
gave us.
wrong with this burger? Like, what
She's-
happened to it?
She's paid to look excited to watch you eat.
Yeah.
Either she's a really good actress, maybe she is, but I genuinely felt like she was truly excited because she kept smiling even when she wasn't at the table and looking over, waiting for me to bite it.
I would say, if your waitress is a good actress, you tip her. You don't lie to her.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very profound thing to say. Happens
What
in
if the whole
Japan.
time she was just over there being like, "Look at this idiot.
Yeah.
He's gonna bite this
Maybe.
$100 burger, and it's literally worth $5."
And she probably, you know what? She probably was. There's a chance that she was, and I feel like going off what you just said, I feel like she's there watching me watch Steins Gate, and she's like, "Look at this idiot. We'd be doing something so much more productive, like watching Toradora."
Like we're over here like pondering the meaning of life in the 2D and the 3D soul, and they're like,
That's
"This
how you
is the
get something out of it.
stupidest thing ever."
That's how you make it not a waste of time. Is you pull something out of it.
I don't think it's a waste of
What
time
if
because we're
that's
talking
the
about
genius part?
it. Is it? Is it genius?
Well, they got 3 of us to ponder life, so I don't know. I'm honestly, the jury's out on this one.
Excuse me. You can speak for yourself. I didn't ponder life watching science. You
I
know what?
ponder
You're
life
right. I did.
wherever I go.
I did ponder life. I wondered, like, how did I get here, and what am I doing, and what can I do?
I remember I was cooking one time for a whole bunch of people. I was cooking eggs. I put, it was like a whole long line.
Just eggs.
Well, yeah, I was the egg side of the grill. It's not important.
Yes, it is. I need some context.
Okay,
Science
yes.
Gate. Give me some
Once half of the
backstory.
grill makes, some of the breakfast, and there's so many people in the line that get eggs that I was the egg
Okay.
guy because it has to
Yeah.
move quick,
Like, all right.
Anyway, so people ask for their eggs, easy, hard, scrambled, omelets, whatever. And I'm running behind. I was like, oh, this line is getting longer because of me, because nobody else is ordering this other guy's breakfasts. So I'm cracking, and then I crack an egg, and out of it comes 2 yolks, right?
Oh my God.
It inspires me so much. I was like, this is the boost I needed to catch up, right? And so I'm making these eggs, and then I put it on the plate, and the guy's like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, the reason it inspired me so much was because I imagined this was going to be twins, right? Like, this is
Oh my God, this
these
is
are 2
so
lives.
sad.
These are 2 lives that were sacrificed so that I can do my job more efficiently, right? That's what I was thinking.
Oh my God.
And so I put it on the plate, and this guy starts complaining because he's like, oh, you're trying to trick me. That's only 1 egg. You better give me another egg. And I gave him the other egg, and I was so heartbroken after that because I was thinking, like, these 2, they died for nothing, And this guy got 3 eggs to me in my brain. That's what I was so pissed. Anyway, that's an example of
Oh,
how it doesn't have to be a good anime to make me
I
think
think
about.
I think you're gonna like Chaos Hit. Hearing that story,
Oh man, I feel so
not
insulted.
you know what's funny? I didn't even mean to say Chaos Hit, but this series to me is just like Chaos Hit +1. But I meant to say is I think you're gonna like Steins Gate.
Oh wow, Freudian slip.
Like at the
think
end of it, I think you're going to have the most positive.
that experience really just, proves the point of the Spice Girls said, two become one. That's just how it goes.
Oh, it's so depressing now when I put the Spice Girls together with those dead chickens.
Oh, the Spice Girls will never be depressing. The only thing that's depressing about that is that I can't see them all on tour. But I'm glad those twin chickens. See, the twins didn't die in vain. Like you had a story about them. They meant something to you,
Yeah, but
right?
that guy,
Which
that
which
jerk,
I
he
guess
got.
is more than this anime is meaning to us.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sorry.
I stepped away for a bit and I muted myself because
We
I
had
was
no
worried.
idea.
I was worried about what's going on outside my house, and I gotta say it's more interesting than Steins Gate. I don't know if I should call the police.
What is
can't-
going on outside your window?
This girl is just screaming "fuck you," and she said "fuck you" forever, like
Did somebody?
forever.
Is there somebody she's screaming to?
I would hope so.
I hope so.
Not she'd be fit right in on Steins Gate, you know. I
She
think
would
she's okay.
definitely fit in.
I think what it is the guy that she's yelling at just cheated on her, and she
Oh.
yeah.
I mean, that's
Right.
a legitimate reason, right?
I mean, that's always the thing you would assume, but maybe she just found out he spent $100 on a burger.
Throwing out some harsh words.
Yeah.
So I'll mute myself again.
There's that.
Yeah, it could be anything.
You know why I spent $100 on that burger? Because I fucking earned that $100. That's why.
You were excited to waste it.
Don't act like you never did nothing that you couldn't have been like, oh yeah, this isn't probably the smartest thing to do, but I'm gonna do it. Everybody has. So
I
whatever.
do stuff all the time that other people think is stupid, and those tend to be some of my most proud moments.
I don't know whether that's just really depressing. I don't know if you were trying to make me feel good
Because
about
I wasn't halted by other people's perceptions, is what I'm saying.
that. Right.
I think all anime viewers can really relate to that statement.
Thank you.
Power to us. Seriously, we just spent 4 episodes of our lives watching this series. Where literally nothing happened except they moved a computer.
Yeah, the girl didn't even technically die.
I don't want to say power to us. In my moment, after episode 2, I'm saying this because I think it's important to say going forward who picked what, because I think it adds a fun dynamic. I want to say that this was Stardust who picked this. I wanted to say it after
he does this to
episode
me
2.
too. He calls me out.
After episode 2, my only thought was, "Fuck you, Stardust." Fuck you.
It doesn't have to be cheating.
Listen, I didn't cheat on anybody, and you can't really blame me because this was highly rated, and the previews looked amazing. And there's really just no way to know until you're in it. It's like a relationship, before the person cheats on you. It's all great and exciting. Then it's just kind of a letdown. And you're like, did I just dream this whole thing?
I'm going to say I got this recommended to me separately. So when Kip came to me and he was like, oh, which one are you going to pick? Because Stardust picked Steins Gate. I was like, we'll just go start Steins Gate. I don't even need my own pick.
His first choice was Devilman Crybaby.
I'm not watching that.
You know
not
what?
Watching that?
I'm going to pick it.
Cannot watch that.
Why can't you? I'm so curious.
So you watch it.
Because I know someone and he was permanently scarred by it. He hasn't quite recovered yet. And so I think that I don't know that I want. Yes, you might.
Did he watch the whole thing?
Yeah, because it's Kip's fault, and he's just never going to be the same because of it.
It's
And
not my
you
fault.
know, I think you made him watch it, and he's still recovering from it. And I don't think that I'm just going to join that party. Like, I don't want to be part of that
How is he
group that
different?
has to go to therapy because
How is
of
he
this
never going to be the
anime.
same?
I think maybe he still has nightmares.
Would you recommend he watch episodes 1 to 4 of Steins Gate instead?
I mean, I don't think he'd remember them if he did, so I think it's completely fine.
So what you're saying is Steins Gate sucks.
There were there were some really good parts, right? Like I liked the theme song, but I did not like the singer. But the song itself is great. I'm sorry. What is her name? Kanako Ito? I'm sorry.
There you go.
I really liked the song itself, and I thought it fit the anime really well, but didn't like her voice. I'm so sorry. And I liked some of the quotes, and honestly, the best part of this anime for me was looking for the deeper meaning. So I think Mad Cat's kind of right. Like you're getting something out of it that wasn't quite there before, and maybe you're reaching, and maybe that's okay that you're reaching. Maybe that's the whole point that you're reaching.
Everybody
Maybe
should
that was
reach
their
all the
intention.
time.
Right, exactly. So but I think it really comes down to me, and the best part of its entire anime, I'm going to say it for future reference, is that when what is her name? Mayumi,
Mayuri?
right? Mayuri. I'm sorry. Generic
It's okay, she's not
Maid
memorable.
Cafe
It's
anime
okay.
girl. Mayuri reaches towards the sun, and she's done it twice now. And I think that's the part that I love the most because I'm like, what is she? Because she seems so 2D, as it were, and just really really simple, just cutesy Maid Cafe anime girl. And she's reaching towards the sun as if there's something there, like something traumatic happened to her, and like that's why she's like this. And I keep wondering why she's reaching for it and why the main character has even noticed it until like that's her thing, right? And I don't know if you guys remember, but in one of the scenes she was standing near a grave and reaching, and like that was never mentioned, but that to
Yeah.
me was the most poignant thing the whole series. This very 2D dimensional, like this girl that's like doesn't really have a personality, so to speak, and she likes cute things. That's pretty much all. She could be 5 years old, like essentially, but she's not, and she's obviously been through something, right? But like we'll just never know, I guess, until like we go past episode 4. I hope.
Yeah, we have
Maybe
20
like
more
she's the
episodes.
key. Yeah, somehow we'll make it, but like people will find out like what that's about. Like she's not sciencey. She doesn't fit into this whole lab group. It
Yeah.
doesn't really make any sense whatsoever that she's there. She doesn't actually do anything. And I'm curious what kind of meaning that she has and what happened to her and like why she's always reaching towards the sun. And like that's why people should watch because that is actually interesting.
Do you
I don't
think
know,
it
man.
would have been a better show if they were actually kids?
Yes.
Like they're 10-year-olds or something, and he thinks he's this mad scientist, and he thinks he discovered a time machine in his microwave, and he's calling professors at colleges and being like, your theory is wrong. I think that sounds like a cool anime.
Definitely.
No.
I mean, like I think people would definitely watch that, and I think it's much more relatable because then you want to root for him. Then you want to root for all of them. Whereas at this point, I think we're like, oh, we kind of feel bad for them.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
this
such a
dude's
deadbeat.
crazy.
Get a life.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Yeah,
would
it's
have
kind
been.
of sad.
I don't think it would have been a more interesting show. I want obviously like I'm the minority, not out of you guys, but like out of a sea of people, because again, Steins Gate is immensely popular, and maybe we'll find out why later on. But
No, I think I just fixed it because in my head I'm imagining this hacker, right?
Mhm.
And he's still into like online porn and waifus and stuff, but he's like a 9-year-old, and that's like to me that's
I don't think it's
Oh
that.
man.
For me, it's not the issue that they're adults. It's just the fact that I can find so many other shows that do a much better job in Steins Gate of what they've been doing. The good thing about Steins Gate is that it's like 24 episodes or whatever. Because if it was 12 episodes, I'd be like, this series sucks. That's it. Nothing that they're gonna do to fix it by the end. But that's not the
you
case.
can't fix it in 8 episodes. That means I'm gonna have to get through 8 episodes of crap.
It's more than 12 episodes. So
But also, this doesn't need to be 24 episodes either. Like, I was like, this seems more like a 12 episode kind of show that like these episodes are too short. Like, nothing actually happens, and like that's obviously a problem. That's
do you feel
obviously built
like
in, but still.
you feel like you really got to what the heart of the issue is? Not like why the anime isn't good per se, but just like the issue of the story.
It's
Like,
just
are
filling
these
time.
characters truly fighting against like what is the real issue of the antagonist or said antagonist, right? Like, I don't feel like it's gotten there. I think it's just a very
No.
I think watching this, that it's just very clear that this was a visual novel. Visual novels sometimes
Yeah, that does clarify things.
they take forever to set up, and I think this is one of those rare times where the animation studio, if they were allowed, should have took some liberties and cut a lot of the fluff. You know, they could have cut a lot of stuff out. I'm not saying that you have to get to what's going on immediately, but you have to have something that captivates the viewer within 4 episodes. It's going to be like episode 14. I'm like, all right, this is getting good. Because if that happens that late, I'm going to be like, no, this is not a good series. It has some things about it that was good, but overall, no, it's not good. Because it's so, my brain always does this thing where there are a lot of anime that are popular that I like, and there are a lot that are popular that I don't like. I avoided JoJo's Bizarre Adventure forever, and then I watched it and I was like, I regret avoiding this. This is like stupid and amazing, and it's funny, and I love it. Right? There are things that are popular that I don't like. So I'm very curious to see where this falls. Who do you think is the bad guy? There's like a bad person that's been introduced so far. Who do you think it would be? I already said who I thought.
It's almost like this mad scientist guy. I can never remember his name, and I think like
Main
him
character?
and John. Yeah, him and John Teeter, this mysterious guy who's already discovered time travel and seems to be from the year 2010 or
2000.
something,
Well,
or
2000.
2000.
But he doesn't remember being here in 2000.
He's like, I never went back to the year 2000. Well, clearly you did. So like, I
He
think
just
like,
hasn't yet.
yeah. So like, there's something going on here, and like the bad guy seems to be this mysterious company who's creating mini black holes, but says they aren't. And there's something going on between him and John Teeter, this web guy, the web forum guy, time traveler maybe, and the main character. There's something going on, this evil corporation, right? And I think that's a very like easy thing to have the bad guy be like this evil corporation. And I'm like, I kind of got a little confused on this evil corporation type of thing with the mysterious old computer that only reads this one language, like this one language that they need. Like, what?
It's weird because it feels like there are so many, like when whatever the guy was on the computer was explaining, people look at time travel as just this one string that goes from past to future, and it's more like multi universes or whatever running alongside each other. It's weird because there feels like there are so many narratives running in Steins Gate, but at the same time,
Mhm.
it feels like there's nothing going on in Steins Gate. Just like, and I don't know if that's like a mastery of story writing that my brain just hasn't comprehended,
I don't think it is.
or if
You were
it's just
somehow out of the loop and it's like genius. Like maybe.
like, they kind of remind me of the Ghostbusters, where just like I like the Ghostbusters, but they just stumbled upon something. Nobody like believes them or takes them seriously, and they're like, no, this is a real thing. And they're like the only people that's working to stop it. In that regard.
Yeah, but they were actually brilliant. Except for Venkman, they were like actual inventors, and this guy is just like, oh man, I have a magical microwave. Lucky me.
Maybe
And the
maybe it was okay, and I guess a better reference would be the Lady Ghostbusters, because there was one of the ladies that was a scientist, right? And
Yeah, she was the
others where
best
they
part
were
about the
just
movie.
so nobody hate on Lady Ghostbusters.
Actually, they had to be more than one because the main character lady, she was like had the book, wrote the book about ghosts, and then the crazy, like, I don't know if she was German accenting lady who made all the weapons. That's
Yeah.
two different scientists, right?
I was talking about the lady that made the weapons. I didn't. I'll be
Yeah.
honest. When I watched Lady Ghostbusters, it kind of was in the background. So I didn't hate it as much as everybody. First of all, I feel like most of the hate came from the fact that it was an all-female cast, which is stupid. But I didn't hate
I
it.
don't know. I don't think it was a great movie, but I thought visually it looked more exciting and spectacular than the original
Yeah.
Ghostbusters.
I cannot say that it was a great movie, but I can say I don't think I hated it as much as everyone because I didn't pay as close attention to it.
It could be. Like you didn't expect anything from it.
I mean, like I laughed at the jokes that I heard in the background, right? But yeah, I paid attention
I
to Steins.
laughed at what's his name? Thor. What's his name?
He was funny, dude.
Chris
He was
Hemsworth
funny.
was funny in that movie.
Yeah. And so was the other lady, the chick that was like was she like a security guard or something?
I don't remember. I've only seen parts of this movie, but like they had some fun. It had some funny parts, but overall, I'm like, I feel like they're going for something that they're not quite hitting.
And Steins Gate had like two funny parts. One part wasn't funny enough because I've seen it a billion times, and that's the part where he like left not enough money on the table and ran out of the restaurant. She was like, "This isn't enough money," but it was another thing. It was another thing that legitimately made me laugh, but I can't remember what it was. I don't know.
There was a couple parts. I was like, oh, that's cute. That's clever. I actually enjoyed that part.
How do you feel about the pacing?
Terrible.
I mean, it's slow. Like one moment you're like, oh, this is a funny part, I think, and then the next part you're like, what's happening? And the next part you're like, did I miss something? Oh, it's over.
Yeah, because they haven't all the exciting stuff. Nobody's talking about it. Like
Yeah.
where he gets lost in the world where there's no people.
Yeah.
They haven't come back to that at all. And then like she came to him, Makise came to him and is like, "Hey, you told me I was going to get stabbed. What's that about?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then she actually does get stabbed, and then he doesn't tell her. Like they don't talk about that again.
Well, maybe it's because like nobody is remembering the things that he remembered, or
Right,
you know,
maybe we're just seeing other timelines, right? But that's terrible pacing.
it's weird.
When
because
nothing's connected, that's terrible.
I do think it's bad pacing. I do agree with you, and I'm totally okay with a slow burn story. As you know, I love Sakurada Reset, which a lot of people hate, and starts off slow for a lot of people. Not to me, but the personal stories in Steins Gate, like, or you have like the company that like has the device that's creating like mini black holes supposedly, and you have the time travel. What are the personal stories? You have Maid Cafe, and you have the fact that they're broke. None of the personal stories are interesting. It just feels like a bunch of fluff, like a bunch of padding to hit that runtime. You know.
Mhm.
I feel like when they were working on this, they were like, okay, and then right here we'll have a commercial. We're gonna run commercials for like 6 minutes, right? And we'll get that 23-minute golden mark. Like that's what it feels like. So I'm hoping going forward that personal stories are interesting. Whatever happened with the girl's father, I sincerely hope that's interesting. You know, the fact that a lot of the characters seem lonely in the series, I hope we get personal stories that are interesting to why they are how they are, you know.
Yeah, like I want to know more about them.
I want to see more people get killed.
Right?
Because you're right, we don't really have. I don't feel like I see any villainy in anybody. I don't see an antagonist.
I'm telling you, dude, that girl that just randomly showed up and then just texted him 21st.
Right, but she hasn't, like, there's nothing to fight against. There's nothing, you know, there's no, like, he mentioned Steins Gate. That's like in his head, the secret organization of spies that's watching him, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen, like in Lane, you see like cars that seem to be posted up outside of Lane's
There's always
house.
a foreboding presence in Lane.
Yeah, and there's none of that.
No, nothing.
So we legitimately think like he might be crazy because you can't.
Yeah, and that would make him the villain, kind of, right? But that would be, and then if he gets killed or he blows himself up or something, that would be nice.
Yeah, I think that'd be. I think that would be. Like we would recover from that. Like, oh, okay, well, he's not the main character. Like, I guess that's fine then. Honestly, if anyone in this series died so far, I don't think anyone would care. We're 4 episodes in. That's kind of sad.
I would be pretty bummed out if the pigtail girl or Mr. Braun died. I'll be honest,
I'd be
I would.
pissed if anybody died before anything happened. You know, like if another satellite just came down and squashed somebody, I'd be like, well, that was for
Yeah.
nothing.
It's like he wanted to fix CRTs.
Also, can I
No,
say,
I mean-
like, that's not what it would look like if a satellite fell out of the sky?
But like, I agree with you, but
Because the news, you would think the news would be like, it's so strange how much little damage there. No, they're
Yeah.
like, well, that's a satellite out of the sky. Looks legit.
suspend belief. That's anime for
That's
the most
not. I
part.
mean, it's either it's either a clue. I mean, obviously it's a clue, right? Because time travel or whatever. But in the world, that's not. It feels like that's not what would happen. Even in a crazy magical green banana world, that's ridiculous.
Has that sentence ever been uttered ever before in time? I don't think it, and I love it. Even in this mystery goo banana world, like this, how this satellite is attached to this building is not okay. It's not believable at all.
Bro, just even like hearing you saying the mystery goo bananas and going back to the time travel, potential time
My
travel.
favorite thing is the
album.
goo banana.
I hate it all. I hate it all. I hate it all. It literally feels like they reach into a bag and they're like, okay, whatever you grab out the bag, you gotta make a story out of it. And they were like,
See, that would make it better if every episode started with like an improv group on a stage pulling ideas out of the
that's you
hat or the
writing
audience.
more of your fan fiction. That's fan fiction. That's not what we're presented. Right?
It's not
You
my
know-
fan. You just made that up. That was you. That
You
was
know
your
what
idea.
else well, that's fine. You know what else I hate?
Now it's fine. That's your.
I hate when the series says its name in the title. Or when it says the title's name in the show. Brains all flustered.
I'm like, it's not what they always do.
Please say that again. I'm sorry.
Like, going off what I said at first, I just imagine Prince and when he changed his name to a symbol. And people are like, so what do we call him? He's like, nothing. I just am. Yeah, I don't like when they say the title's name within the show and he's just like, oh, Steins Gate. And I'm just like,
I mean, you have something against Sailor Moon because I can't stand for it.
It's not like you hate every time somebody calls Lane, right?
they don't say Sailor Moon's Lane. They call her by her name.
That's
Her
a
name
good
is Lane Iwakura. Right?
But see, I think there's so many animes that that have titles that I don't really square. Like eventually, I'm like, this is eventually going to make sense, and I'm like, maybe not.
Goku never says. He says we had to find a Dragon Balls. He didn't. We had to find the Dragon Ball Z. Like,
well, the original show was Dragon Ball, right?
Correct. And they had to find the Dragon Balls because that's what they're called.
Right, but they would find them one at a time, though. They'd be like, "There's a Dragon Ball."
Yeah, I didn't see a problem with that, and they would be like, "What's Steins Gate?" I don't know, man. It's just like even when he first says it, and maybe it's just me being picky because I hate his character that much. You know what I mean? But I feel like if I was watching what did we recently watch? Amanchu. We were watching Amanchu, and she's like, "Yes, this is the beautiful life, the society of Amanchu." And first of all, that's not what the city's called. Okay, so I just feel like it's very ham-fisted. Yeah, let's move on to closing thoughts because I've been a negative Nancy for long enough. Any closing thoughts? I'll let you guys
Turn
start.
your life around at this moment. Are we all going to win?
You know, watching Steins Gate has made me realize that there's no turning. There's no turning. It is what it is.
I mean, and maybe that's okay. Maybe it's all right that like it is what it is, and like you're just gonna gather these deeper meanings from it, and maybe that's why everyone should show up to like really evaluate their own lives.
When that girl outside my house yelled at her potential mate and said, fuck you forever, I felt it. That was how I felt about you and Steins Gate.
I felt bad in previous episodes. I felt bad for saying penis, and now you've said the F word so many times.
Yeah, well, those previous episodes had a different tone. This is a whole other tone. No, those episodes aren't going to see the light of day. This will. I want everybody to know. I want everybody to know how I feel about Steins Gate. Even if they don't agree, they're going to know. I'm not going to be that dude, though, that goes on a forum where everybody loves Steins Gate and they're like, this sucks. This is why. Like, I don't like people like that. So I'm not going to do that.
No. I mean,
Closing thoughts. I look forward to the series changing my opinion on it.
I would say, who? No, you go, Stardust. Your closing thought.
I feel like I already said my closing thoughts.
You
like,
did.
I
You
think-
really. That's what I told him.
You've ever read the book The Alchemist, which is a great book, and I'm not trying to compare it to this in that way, right? Because like I don't think it's comparable, but in a way, if I can take from it a little bit, like everyone loves that book, and it's because it really relates to their own life, and every time you read it, you could take something different from the story. In that way, you could take something different from this story, and I still love how the girl reaches for the sun, and the beginning, and also at the end of this. And I don't know what's going to happen in the next 4 episodes, but I am waiting to be dazzled. I am waiting to be wowed like I was in that first episode. And I'm hoping it doesn't let me down because it's been a long time since I've seen an anime that had the potential the first episode had. I love that they're short, but I need something to actually happen. This series, I feel like it started out really good and I had really high hopes for it. And then by episode 4, I just didn't care anymore. And I'm an optimist and, kind of like what the opposite of what Kip is. And I really wanted to care and I just didn't. And I'm like, man, I feel like if I don't care, how can I tell anyone else to care by episode 4? But episode 1, like I was all about it. And like, there's a deeper meaning running through the backbone of this show. And I really want to find out what it's about. And I really do hope that other people are correct in saying that it is slow moving the beginning. And I agree. Like episode 1, great, loved it. Episode 2, 3, 4, I like nothing's happened other than the fact that there's an old computer and they moved it and others random characters that don't mean anything. So I'm curious where they're going with it. And it's a great setup so far, but I wanted more to happen and I wanted just deeper characters and that's not what we've gotten so far. So I'm curious to see where it goes. That's my take.
I'm thoroughly satisfied with your take.
Thank you, because that gave me the inspiration I needed. First of all, I can care about anything. But I care so that anybody listening out there doesn't have to. Don't watch this. I like that you mentioned Rick and Morty, because Rick and Morty does almost everything that this is trying to do, I think, better, except for the college aspect. So if you need to see like college kids discovering weird science, go watch Real Geniuses. It's an 80s movie starring Val Kilmer. And he wears a lab coat in it, so you can squint and imagine you're watching this.
Did we all recommend other things to watch on our closing thoughts about Steins Gate?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 20 more episodes to go.
That's how you be more. It's a practical show.
My last
You have
question.
so many recommendations.
My last question is, if you had to give it between 0 and 5 stars, obviously 5 being the highest, what would you rate these 4 episodes? Not individually, but as a whole.
2.
Okay.
I was gonna say 2.
Nice.
All right, I give it
Digital
1.
high five.
That's a 1 for me. 1 because it's created, people worked on it, and they worked hard, and they had an idea, and their idea wasn't bad. A 1. That's a 1. All right.
Never seen you so vicious.
Stay tuned for next week. Adios.
Cheese came out.
Ciao.
Bye. Time is meow. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, Nyan.